And now your host, Noreen McClendon.
Good evening, everybody, and we have survived check-in, and I am Noreen McClendon, and your facilitator and host for Free to Heal, and this is where we are formerly incarcerated loved ones, and we come together every week so that we can heal from the ravages of what mass incarceration has done for all of us. And I'm so happy to have, we got in the house, we got Miss Cheryl, Miss Roberta, Miss Diane, and we got Miss Tony sitting next to me today. They are the peanut gallery. They in the peanut gallery today. And we got, excuse me.
They want you to say Tony's the co-host.
Tony's our co-host.
I am not.
But you're not the co-host when you didn't sit here either.
Yes, she is.
She is? Oh, but we didn't know. I didn't know I had a co-host. Okay, so I'm being educated today.
Right.
I'm being educated today that I have a co-host. But anywho, okay, so
That's your co-host.
Y'all funny.
Y'all
funny.
We're trying to do a show here. We're trying to get to the point. Because guess what? We need to talk about the appropriate, healthy way to break up with a mother, okay? And they over here talking about co-hosting and not hosting. Listen, we got business to handle, okay? So anyway, what I was trying to say was, we also got D-Dub in the house, we got Terrell, we got Monica, and we got Frank. And so we are happy to have everybody here Free to Heal. I wanted the people online, the people in the house, at any time that you want to say something, please just go ahead and speak. Yes, ma'am.
I want to speak on breaking up.
Go ahead.
Don't call them back. Don't go see them. Don't answer their call.
Don't call them. Don't go see them. Now, when does that apply? In other words,
You don't want to talk to them no more.
okay, but wait.
Oh, Roberta got something to say.
Miss Berber.
I do believe they're old conversation. And it could just be, I ain't gonna be able to do it no more.
So,
If you cheated on
Miss Roberta, okay, so wait.
I wanna know what happened.
So this is the thing.
Start the conversation.
So we got one person say you just don't call, you just stop taking their calls, whatever. We got another person saying they feel like they deserve a conversation. And I'm going to say you're both right. You're both right.
Well, right on.
You're both. Somebody come take me back home. This is why Roberta can't go on vacation. She get a little bit too feisty and she have a little bit too much going on. And we're not ready for that, Roberta, yet. We thought we were because we've been trying to get her to come and show up. And now that she's here, we realize that we're not really appropriately rolling up to handle her. But anywho, what I was trying to say was, the reason I say that is because it depends on the nature of the relationship that you're in. So, for example, if you meet a guy or a girl or something in between, and you all are just casual, you know, the early warning signs have shown you that that this is not going to be a relationship that's going to work for you. If that's the case, then there's really not a lot of conversation that needs to be had. But if you guys have committed that, have defined what it is that you're doing, you guys have been spending some time with each other. You can just end it with a conversation that this is not working for me. But as we discussed last week, the first thing that has to happen is you have to know you, and you have to know why. You have to know.
Let me see it, man.
Okay, I'm going to put them out. Y'all gonna get put out. Let me just say this.
She didn't say when she
Y'all-
was touching her.
But y'all gonna get put out.
Don't put me out.
Can you go turn on the air? Cause it's made me hot in here. Okay, so what I'm saying is this. Last week we just discussed the fact that you as the person who wants to break up, you need to know why. Right. Because for anybody that deserves a conversation, you gotta be able to explain, this is why I don't want to be in a relationship anymore. It is not a conversation. The conversation is not to get back in the relationship or be talked back into the relationship. The conversation is to give someone that deserves and has earned the respect of you saying, if nothing else, I don't want to do this, or I met you and I decided I really don't like you after all. Because you could say that, that's acceptable. It's not working for me, and I'm not as into you as, so I don't want to do that. But you got to be able to explain it. Nobody else can explain it. So the first thing we talked about last week is you got to know you, and you got to know what your position is, and you got to know what it is that has caused you to decide that this is not working for you. Sometimes it could be a relationship deal breaker. We have those. If we don't know what our relationship deal breakers are, we need to know what they are. For example, a relationship deal breaker for me is dishonesty. I know a lot of people, it's cheating. That may not necessarily end the relationship for me. That's just me, right? Depending on the nature of the relationship, what's going on, where I'm at in my life, where you at in yours, how I find out is important. If you embarrass me in front of everybody, I'm probably done. But and the other thing for me is if you don't protect me sexually and use condoms and stuff, then I'm done. Like that, those are deal breakers for me, right? But some people, that's not a deal breaker for them. And some people, if it's a deal breaker, then you need to be able to explain that that's what it is and you move on.
But everyone doesn't deserve an explanation.
That's correct.
So that's where I differ from Roberta's remarks. For me, I think that everyone deserves closure.
Okay.
For me, there's a difference because it can be a conversation, yes. But if I tell you that, this is not working for me, I don't feel that I need to go into some kind of dissertation as to why. Because when we get to talking, it's almost as if you want to try to talk me out of it.
Correct.
I'm not here to talk out of it.
Or debate me out of it.
Or debate me out of it. I'm not here for that because for me, once I make that decision, that's my decision to own, and I'm not for this huge explanation. What I am here for is to explain to you, this is not working for me, or to say to you, this is not working for me, and I'm just ready to resign from the relationship and us go our separate ways. But I don't think that is,
But that's conversation. See, that's the difference between Cheryl saying nothing, you just don't answer their calls, and da. And listen, and sometimes even that's appropriate. But what I wanted to say is, in my book, Hurt People Highway, Identifying Unhealthy Elements in Relationships, I wrote that closure is bullshit in this regard. In this regard. It's over, case closed, that's it. The person and that's the people that want the conversation, like you say, to try to extend the relationship or renegotiate the relationship. It's over, case closed. We don't have to have no long drawn out, but okay, so this is what I was saying earlier, right? You have some people that you may have met. You may have just met this person and you talk for a few days and you go, this ain't it. You could just easily stop taking their calls because you haven't established nothing, right? Right, yeah, you will, right? You just ghost them, whatever. I don't want to talk to you no more. Now, on the other hand, if it's somebody that you have established, we're interested in trying to get to know each other. We quote unquote, the term they use now is dating, right? We've done that, and you realize this person is really putting in the effort, but me and this person are never going to be in a relationship because you don't meet my standard, or you got that one little tooth that really irritates me. I just don't want to be bothered with you no more. It could be any number of things. It could be a big thing or a little thing, right? But whatever that is, you're entitled to that. That person, I would say, is as simple as, this is not going to work for me, and I just wanted you to know that I'm not going to be pursuing I don't want to pursue a relationship with you. And then from there, you don't owe them no more conversation.
What if they be like, so what did I do wrong?
Well, it's not you, it's me, and that's it. That's where I'm at.
But I want you to like me.
Well, and I do like you. I just don't like you in that way.
Go get therapy.
Okay, so one person wants to send her therapy, and I'm saying I don't owe you to continue to explain it to you. Like, that's what I don't owe you. I feel like, again, it all depends on how much time we have spent in working on this relationship is where it becomes important to communicate.
and I still feel it's situational.
Well, don't you think that's Noreen, don't you think that's kind of cold and shrewd? Like, if you I feel like if you have at least taken one day to spend in the life of another human being, you might not have a connection there. You might not have a connection, and it might not have gotten really deep. But I think that most times, like I can say for me, that I would at least, I guess they do call it closure. And sometimes people feel like you don't deserve closure because we didn't really get to know each other. We went on one date. But even for especially the way that things are now, if you take 2 hours out of your day to go and have dinner, lunch, or to become acquainted with somebody, even in those 2 hours, there is a connection. Like we just don't pass each other or come in each other's space for no reason. Whether you're on an elevator with somebody for 5 minutes, y'all were meant to be in that space. If you say hello, they say hello, then you exchange that. It could change the trajectory of somebody's day. I've had bad days where somebody actually said hi, good morning to me, and it just made me feel so great that somebody acknowledged me, saw me, and it changed my whole day around. So I just think that human beings do and should consider just giving each other closure at some point. You don't have to go into like why your feet stink and shit. I ain't really into no funky feet ass dudes. However you want to say it. But I do think that there has to be at least some like, all right, look, I don't want to like you, I don't like you. That's it, that's all.
I again, for me, Monica, I believe it's all situational. I think it's all situational. I think it all depends on the nature of that communication. I use a guy recently tried to debate me into dating him. As if, yeah, well, you should be, and anyway. And at the end of the day, I didn't owe him no other explanation other than what I told him. I'm not interested in dating you. Based on where you are in your life and where I am, I'm not interested in dating you. That's it. That was the only explanation as a human soul that I felt like he deserved. Now, at this point, if he was still trying, I just wouldn't take his calls anymore. That's where I would go to the Cheryl mode. And I would there's nothing for me to say. And I don't even block people because you can call all you want. You can call till the cows come home and I'm still not answering the call. Because I don't owe you that, right? You don't pay my bill. You know what I'm saying? Right? Okay, yes, you know what I'm saying? Go ahead.
So I'm finding as I'm getting older and I'm getting older, so I'm finding that things are by error and by age group, because I have a little coworker that's 23 and her thoughts are so different from mine because I've lived a much longer time than her. And sorry if this is transparent, sorry if it offends anybody. When I was young, we meet people, we have sex, and guess what? That's what it was back then. Now it's a dangerous thing to do. Back then it was kind of dangerous because you can get crabs or syphilis or gonorrhea or something.
Well, penicillin would took care of that, but anyway, now that
now, because my thing is this, and Monica, that's so kind of you, and I understand what you're saying because I believe that you're in a relationship with a person you speak to, a person that you sit next to on the bus, because that is relationship. But you let me meet this guy and the sex is bad, I ain't never talking to him again.
Hello.
Right?
But what and why?
I'm not.
But what and why? That was a waste of time. Yeah.
Look, that's true for your ass, straight from a woman's mouth. Yo.
You heard it, Terrell.
Hey,
what'd you say, Terrell?
No, I said that's true for your ass, straight from a woman's mouth. So
How about that?
Fellas,
now you know.
Fellas, you hear straight from a woman's mouth. So don't let another man tell you what a woman, you know what I'm saying, just told you right there.
Yeah, you just heard it. You heard it.
I mean,
You heard it right there.
Yeah, but that's only one woman.
Right, yeah, because another one may be
Tony, okay, we know there's only one woman, but I'm just expressing that to the men. I wasn't even for you, so don't even trip.
I'm not tripping. I'm just saying that's one woman's view. Like we know, have our own views per se.
Yes, indeed.
But, definitely.
And one of the reasons that is a really important distinction to her, something important to say is, okay, they can hear you. So one of the reasons I'm saying it's important is because no two people are the same. And there is let's get that straight. There's no one size fits all.
Right.
They sell it at the store.
No, that ain't a relationship. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. There's no one size fits all relationship. No. What works for one person ain't gonna work for somebody
Wow.
else.
So, but that's the thing, you have to break it down for a lot of different people.
Different ways.
That's what I'm saying. So one size do fit. It has to be broke down.
Well, and no, but it ain't the same size for everybody.
Yeah, you see, I gotta break it down.
That's what
I don't like that. Gotta go home because,
sit on the 15th freeway. Yeah, you did that today. So anyway, but what's important to understand again is no two people are exactly the same. But and as you can see just from the ways, but there are some things that are consistently healthy about how you break up. Like again, depending on how long and what kind of relationship you had. And the only way that you know that is you got to examine you. How invested are you in the relationship? How much do you respect the person? Because I'll tell you this, if I got to break up with you after we done had a fight, it ain't nothing to talk about. Meaning this, if for any reason we had to scream and yell and shove and argue and carry on like that, then there's no need for me. You already know why we broke up. And you know why I'm not taking it.
What about the ones?
What we doing here for real?
Huh?
What about
That
the
is funny.
What we doing
Well, see, they're
here?
not interested in breaking up though. The people, listen, okay, I'm gonna tell y'all a quick little story, right? On a bus to the Hollywood Bowl from Compton. And you know, so here in California, they have the Hollywood Bowl and you can't, because parking is so bad, they have these satellite places you can go park and they'll drive you to the bowl and then you get on the bus and go back to your car. So they have them all over the place. I've taken it from multiple locations. This particular time I decided to take it from. So on the way back, this nice couple, lovely couple get on and they go on the back of the bus. And before we even get to take off, they back there squabbling. When I tell you they squabbling and beat the bed to the point where we like, get the police, because she is kicking his. I'm telling you, she is beating his ass. And then finally, now he done got tired. He ain't taking no more ass whooping. And now he starts swinging back. Now, we all okay. So the police say, look, either y'all gonna calm down, or y'all gonna go back to okay, no, we gonna go back. Well, somewhere between Hollywood and Compton, these motherfuckers start hugging and kissing each other on the back of the bus. And I was irate. This was my thing.
What?
If y'all like to fight and fuck, have at it. But do it in private.
No space.
Do it at home. Don't involve me in the public that I gotta sit here and watch y'all fight because I wasn't happy about her hitting on you, and I damn sure ain't happy about you hitting on her. And now y'all gonna make out and kissing and hugging and shit. No, do that at home.
Did you fight him?
Crazy.
I didn't do anything because I didn't want to go to jail. And I was angry enough that at that moment, because again, you involved all of us. Not to mention the fact we had to stop. People lose their lives behind that
Yes,
shit.
indeed.
And it's why domestic disputes are the most dangerous for police officers to go to, because they will start off with a dispute and next thing you know, they teaming up on an officer. So, but I was real upset because you guys put us in the middle of that. If that's y'all thing, do that at home. That's at home. Y'all don't, and look, and I believe two consenting adults can consent to whatever they want to. Y'all don't have to do it my way. Y'all don't have to relate the way I relate. But one thing is for sure, again, keep that to yourself. And they literally, I was like, oh, I can't even believe this right. I can't believe it. And a lot of people was rolling their eyes and carrying on because y'all got us involved in something that, right. And what about all the people who had been in domestic disputes before and it was triggering them? You don't even know what that's going to set off. It could set off a chain reaction. You know what I'm saying? And I'm going to use, because the woman was really beating him up. It could have been another man on there that some woman had been beating him up. You see what I'm saying? Because we don't talk about that enough. There's a lot of abusive ass women out here too. Let's not try to act like it's only going one direction. Because I grew up believing that a man should never put his hands on a woman until I watched my cousin's wife hit him with a broomstick because we were late coming for the Dodger. And at that point, I mean, she was wearing him out and he was doing everything he could not to hit her. But of course, I knew better than to get in it. You know what I'm saying? But it was like, no, he needed to defend himself. Terrell, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, I just want to say, and this is a prime example of how a lot of things is in society right now. So You know, you're gonna see some stuff out here, and don't get involved with people. And this is why people really be like with the hands off. This ain't no community raising community, because it's not. Because some people believe in it and some people don't. And the ones that don't, it's a whole different ball game. You know what I'm saying? So you have to be careful, because you try to intervene, or you feel you like you trying to do something righteous and end up being a victim. You know what I mean? So, and that's why a lot of people just mind their business, because sometimes if you're not forwarded with the right equipped people to handle a certain situation, don't get involved. And that's it. You know what I
If you don't
mean?
have skills in that area, like if you
That's
don't,
what I'm
like I said, if
saying.
you're not
So
trained, and
yeah,
it's
that's what I'm
dangerous.
saying. So especially if you by yourself, you definitely don't get involved in by stuff physically, because you're already outman. You know what I mean? And they gonna turn on you. Just like she said, they just start making out. So, and I've seen it happen before. People who try to help somebody and this, that, and that, and the people turn on them, and they end up being the victim. So you got to be very conscious of that out here. You know,
Yeah, I
'cause a
remember
lot of
one
people is
time
on
a
them
a
games.
lady, a guy and a girl were,
It's sad that you can't intervene or try to help in certain situations, but you can't be no hero and get messed up neither. You got to evaluate situations.
whether it's
That could
worth it.
be
I
a
remember. Oh, go ahead, Monica.
I was just going to say that I think the whole scenario is a prime example about what we do affect other people without us even knowing that that whole situation has affected you guys from the beginning to the end. The fighting, and then they turned around and started kissing. And I think that gets back to relationships. My sister always liked to remind me that if I'm not taking care of myself and I'm not in good health, that also affects my family. Because if I'm down, then it means that my family got to come and take care of me, my nieces, my nephews, and stuff like that. So it everything is relationships to me. Everything we do will always go back to a relationship of some sort of some kind. So I'm just staying with the theme of relationships. Y'all were in a relational proximity to something that was occurring, where something that somebody did impacted the time that you was trying to get to your destination. It impacted how you might have felt that day emotionally, like your feelings. It impacted you in a lot of ways. So I just wanted to bring that to the forefront.
Yes, thank you. And it's really important because we don't often realize um, how much what we do and what happens with us affects other people. You know, one of the things in as a loved one of someone who was incarcerated, um, a lot of times the person incarcerated realize how their loss or their absence impacts the rest of the family, and how it changes the dynamics. When you start plucking people out of Diana, I was telling on the way today in the car how I've always been the baby in my family and really kind of like my neighborhood. So when I go back to Philadelphia and I'm around my family and my neighborhood, the people in my neighborhood, I'm still the baby girl. I'm 61 years old, and they still treat me like the baby girl. Well, where are you going? Well, one guy was supposed to, because my oldest brother is deceased. So now the other guys in the neighborhood feel extra responsibility because he's not here. So I'm telling them I'm coming home. The guy goes, okay, well, we're gonna hook you up. We're gonna hook up and we're gonna go to the fight together. Well, now he can't come from Atlantic City. So now he done assigned somebody else from the neighborhood. Oh, he's your bodyguard for the night. I'm the bodyguard. You heard what I said. Well, I guess he's my body. Right. But relationships, the dynamics don't really change much. Wherever you are, whatever that is, it tends to stay the same. But just think about when you pull people out of, for example, my brother's deceased, right? So now you got people in the neighborhood saying, oh no, I got to step in there. Well, when you start pulling mothers, fathers, sisters, because you pull all these people out of a community, you got all these holes, gaping holes, and people don't learn things, and they don't even learn, Monica, how to be in relationship a lot of times.
Yeah.
And there's not a lot of that going on. Like that is one of the challenges that we have. People don't understand. One of the most astounding things to me in the work that I've been doing is hearing so many men, because I've just been in a lot of men's prisons, right? saying that particularly street dudes, that like to compartmentalize. Men compartmentalize anyway, as a rule, as a general rule. The way y'all function with something, y'all gonna do one thing at a time. Y'all not multitasking all at the same time like that. But a man in the streets tend to compartmentalize. That's my hood stuff. That's the street stuff. This is my woman, and this is my family. And those boxes don't always meet. The reality in their mind, anyway. The reality is that whatever happens to you affects each one of those boxes. So you think and I've heard every one of them say, because I like to protect my family like that. We ain't protected from shit. Because all that means is now we have no information to try to help you once you get busted, right? Now you just put us in a worse situation because we don't even know what the hell you doing. We don't know who you've been with. We don't know nothing because you was protecting us, right? But no, we, as your family, because we're going to be the ones that are going to pick up the pieces. It is not going to be them people over there. The hood people, they not. And anybody on here, y'all can please stand up and correct me if I'm wrong. If y'all had hood people who actually took care of y'all when y'all was in the pen, please let me know. Okay. So, but wait. So speak up.
I did.
Okay.
I did. It was random, like
The family, right?
huh?
It was the
But-
people that was like family.
She didn't say random. She said took care of.
Then they was guys.
Okay, but it wasn't consistent though. In other words, did they do the stretch? Did they do the stretch? 24 years with you? No, but who did that? Your family, right?
Yeah.
They was the only ones, right? My point, your mom. Okay, there you go. Now we're talking the same. We on the same terms, right? Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Because you might have somebody. I know several people who said, they had a couple people who kind of kicked in here and there, whatever. They stayed down a few years or whatever, maybe even up to 10. But nobody other than the family takes the full ride. They don't take the full ride. So, and certainly not the hood folks. You know what I'm saying? They just don't. And so that's something that young people don't realize. But Cheryl, to your point, people don't understand the dynamics of being in relationship right now. They don't even know what their responsibilities are. Partly because they don't know them. We spend so much time. If you think about young people, the young folks right now, all the girls want to look exactly alike. They want the part down the middle with the and the BBLs and they want what I got naturally and all that kind of stuff. But anyhow, I'm just saying, and eyelashes, the hoochie brows, you know what I'm saying? They want all of that, and they all look alike.
The best.
But okay, what I tell you, Terrell, stop me when I start lying. Okay, when I tell a lie, make me stop. Up until then, I'm just trying to say what I gotta say. Because and the cold part is when we were young coming up, y'all get put out too because y'all about bad as this one here. It wasn't all you. It wasn't all you, was it? It wasn't all you. With all that talking inside people doing, with all that talking,
Even transgenders all looking like too.
they do.
Yeah, they
Yeah, all the trans they do.
They changed that stuff, they did.
Yes. No, so they were saying, but the issue is y'all should have just said something to the people over here. We can't all talk. We can all sing together, but we can't all talk.
But we talking about pockets. So in their pocket, they were talking about, and you were talking about those girls, the BBL girls, the last girls that they were talking about, and now all of the transgenders look alike. Because my thought when they were saying that is, when I look at my son and the girls that him and his friends are dating, they're all looking alike to a certain degree, but it's more so the behaviors that they exhibit, because they are acting alike, and what they're doing is they're taking on this macho persona,
Popping their collars.
No, being loud,
Mm-hmm.
Coming over, in the street with the music blowing and not knowing who I am. I'm on the camera listening to the alley, and I hear my son say, "Please turn that down. Please turn that down. What's up? What's up? What's up?" And I'm like, "You didn't hear him tell you to turn that down?" And he's like,
You said it on the mic.
I said it on the mic, and he told her, "Pull on off." Yeah. Get to stepping. But I see that pockets. We're morphing, you know, and it's generational, and like Cheryl said, it's eras, but it's the behaviors that they're exhibiting all the girls want to be hard, but it is a flux of, you know, the conversation that we had last year or the year before, where one of the gentlemen got really mad about women, and, you know, we are the way we are. And I said, you know, I don't want to have to change my light bulbs. I don't want to have to get on the ladder. I don't want to have to do any of those
I don't
things.
need gas in my car nor wash it.
You know, I got gas this morning, and the man was looking
Mad
at
as
me
hell, mad
with
as
my
hell.
pearls on, and I did like that because I don't have any choice but to put the gas in my car as a single
Yeah.
woman. But it is still having that regurgitated effects on the generations that are coming, because now the girls are acting very mannish.
Very, and
You
let
know.
me tell you what's sad about it is,
And not to cut you off,
mhm.
but the boys or the young men that come to my house absolutely know better.
Wow. Well, because let me tell you why. Part of it is society is being programmed. We're being programmed all the time, and through music and media, women being hard is okay. It's programmed in subconsciously. If you look at advertisements, for example, there was a big to-do about a baby carrier. You know how you put the baby in, put it on, and put the baby in. So when they did an ad for white people, the woman had had a husband. When they did the ad for the black lady was single, right? So it's just little subliminal messages of things that media and recently, I think it was Ice Cube came out and was talking about music executives. They had a very specific agenda. They want our communities, particularly poor communities, to be on drugs and all this kind of stuff. But that concept of I'm pimping and I'm popping my collar and I'm the man and I can do whatever a man does. No, you cannot. First of all, we're not built the same. In even physically, right? We're not built the same. But also, at the end of the day, men haven't changed, nor have women. So no matter what society has done, in my heart of hearts, I really want him to love me. I want to feel safe, right? I want to feel that it's okay for me to let him have my heart. A man wants to be appreciated for the things that he does. When he provides, he wants his woman to say, yeah, my man did that. He wants his kudos for that. And he deserves that. Men have to lead. As much as we don't want to hear that shit, men need to be leading. That's because that's the way it was designed. And it really does work better that way. I ain't gonna lie to you. I don't want to think about everything. I tell my man in a heartbeat, when I'm getting with you, I'm shutting this brain down. I have to be the boss at work all day, every day. I have to make all the decisions. Every time it's a question, who they coming to? They coming to me. I don't want to decide shit when I get with them. I just want to be me. I just want to be a girl. Can I just be a lady? Okay. Babe, what you want to eat? What you want to eat? You want? Can I do something soft? Allow me to be. I don't have skills in masculine areas because I chose to. It's because it was necessity. And because my thing was this, I wanted a home and didn't nobody buy me once I had to buy my own. I wanted a car, didn't want nobody signing up to go buy, so I had to buy my own. Right? I wanted to go on vacation, I had to pay for that myself. Wanted to go out the country, I had to pay for that myself. Well, then you just do that. But, and again, I became fascinated by construction. And I like the things that I have been interested in career-wise have been very male dominated. And it's always been a challenge. One of my favorite times was when I was first starting out in construction at a construction company. And the superintendent on the job was a black man and I was a black woman, much younger than him. So of course, everybody automatically assumed I was his daughter because of course I could never, go to school or not just to get my own education, start to hear on my own merit. It had to be nepotism for me to be able to be in charge of. Oh yeah, absolutely. Especially because at that time, I was in my early 30s, so I probably looked like I was about 15 or 16 still, according to them. So clearly they had to be my dad. But anyway, and then I was in charge of safety on the site. So I had to hold safety meetings and different stuff every week. And I would tell them, listen, don't do this, or you gotta do that, or you gotta tie this ladder on, you gotta do this and that. And they would listen to me and they wouldn't do it. But then this was the ultimate revenge. Cause see, I didn't have to argue with them. I was also the person to process their payment. Fastest way to get your damn payment lost in the sauce is to disregard my safety meetings and what we discussed and agreed to at the safety meeting, or talk shit to me and disrespect my authority. Oh, I didn't got mad, I got eaten when it counted. Yeah. Oh, now I'm their best friend. Now anything, Noreen, what you say, Noreen? Okay. Well, Miss Noreen, which ladder you want me to tie on? What time you want to? Okay. Yeah. But again, I had to learn how to operate in those environments. Right. I didn't just know. I had to know how to navigate it. So because we also had to get the job done. That was the other thing, right? The most important thing is that the building, and but the one time that I didn't fuss at them, it was early on in this job, and we were down 2 stories in the ground. And I got on the ladder and the motherfucker swung off. And all I could do was hold on till it swung back the other way. If I had fallen off, I'd have died. Literally. Because it's 2 stories down in the ground. And it wasn't no back. Right. I wasn't gonna bounce. You know what I'm saying?
No Teletubbies.
No, well, no Teletubbies, you know what I'm saying? So it was like, and that's when I was like, okay, no, y'all gonna have to listen. So there were things that, yes, I've had to take on, but not because I want to be a guy, because I never wanted to be a guy. I'm okay being a girl. I'm okay being a Black woman. I'm okay just like I am, right? I just need you to let me be me. Just let me do my thing and earn, okay? But when it comes to relationship with a man, I just want to be a woman. I don't want to be any of those things. I don't want to be the boss. I don't want to be in control. None of that. Controlling you and $5 might get me a half a cup of coffee down there at Starbucks.
No, they
Control
down every $5.
That's what I'm trying to say. Might give me a half a cup. That's what I'm saying. And controlling you ain't shit. What did that give me at the end of the day? Nothing. It don't give me nothing. And that's not what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to be in relationship. And relationship means that both people get there's a balance there. Okay, so let's do this too, because it's important. And it occurred to me earlier, and I let somebody finish talking and forgot to say it. What we're talking about at Free to Heal are healthy relationships. We're talking about healthy relationships. Healthy relationships are balanced. Both parties in the relationship get their needs met and addressed. Both parties. It is built on a good foundation. Usually when I say that's like a foundation of truth. You cannot, it's one of the reasons why relationships that start where one or both people are cheating on somebody else, they don't last. Because ultimately, y'all don't trust each other.
It was embarrassed from the beginning.
And because it wasn't on a solid foundation. What it was built on was a lie. And that's like quicksand. Ain't nobody building on quicksand. You know what I'm saying? On swampland. That's why they got tests, geological tests that you got to do to make sure this soil can handle the weight of this building. And if it don't, you better get out there and start compacting it to the point that it can stand that. And you got to build, you're going to have to pour your footings. If your soil is bad, you're going to have to pour your footings a lot thicker and stronger so that it can handle the pressure of all of the weight that you're going to put on top of it. And when we were talking, I think in check-in, it's like somebody was saying, work in the relationship. A relationship is like a muscle. It needs exercise. It needs to be tended to. And you can't just get in a situation and think that, oh, now, that notion of, and they were married happily ever after. Bullshit. I'm calling bullshit. Because the happily ever after is work. One of the things I was telling somebody recently is the relationships that last the longest, there's one thing they all have in common. The two people have decided that the relationship is going to last. They have committed to wanting that relationship to last. It's not because it's been easy. It's not because the other person has never been an asshole. It's not because they haven't disappointed. It's not because everything has been peaches and roses. No, it's because they decided individually that they're going to make the relationship the thing that is most important in their engagement. and they work to keep it alive. However they got it going or whatever even if it morphs, they morph with it, because this is the thing. This right here is the thing. So it's important for people to realize, if you think you're going to meet somebody or you're going to get into a relationship and everything's going to be good and whatever you did, you could stop doing it. If you took her out to dinner periodically to get her, you probably going to need to keep doing that. You know, so that's one of the reasons why I was big on stuff. I wouldn't start nothing in a relationship. Once I realized that, then I wouldn't continue. So for example, met a guy, I just love this guy. But at the time I was managing my little league football team. And so I got up and I had to iron my uniform shirt. And so he go, "Oh, since you ironed it, can you iron mine?" I said, "No." He said, "What?" I said, "No, I'm not gonna iron yours." Because I hate to iron. It's the one thing. I've been late to work multiple times, late to making my money. And if you know anything about this Capricorn, you know she says about her damn money. Okay? So if I'm gonna be late to get my money, I damn sure ain't gonna start. I don't even want you to think I'm going to continue. I will be the person who's going to iron your stuff for you, because that's not me. I didn't think it would be fair to him to even start him off. No, and it ain't no sense in me telling you that lie right now, because I'm gonna tell you from here I ain't gonna be able to do it. And then you're gonna be mad. And then I think you would have a right to be mad.
You will be.
And you would have a right to be mad because you started off doing that. You lured me in doing it. Well, I'm not luring you in. If me to being here, me without ironing for you ain't enough, then you better get to going now, because you panic now to avoid the rush later. You say, but I won't be doing no ironing.
And that's a healthy way to break your stop relationship.
Yeah.
But just reverse it. Just do it the reverse way. Instead of putting all that work in to make it work, reverse it. Stop.
That's funny.
But it's the truth. It's the truth.
Yeah,
Why?
it is.
Because I don't think it's fair. I don't think it's fair. I call that bait and switch. Don't, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Don't start something you don't intend to continue. And I'm not gonna do that. That's just not who I am. Yeah, quote unquote being nice. If the rest of life,
Consistency. That's what it's called. It's called consistency and being who you are. And if
Plus,
you don't know a person,
people don't do that when you first meet people. They usually give you
the representative
idea of what they want you to see, but they're not really bringing their real self to the stage. You know, you got a front stage in psychology. They talk about a front stage person and a backstage person when it comes to our personalities and our characters and how we deal with other people. And it's that's what the term is called. It's like a front stage personality and a backstage personality. And you
tell you
don't
what's funny about that, because when I grew up, Monica, in the projects in Philadelphia, one of our biggest thing was don't be fronting. Don't be fronting. Do not be fronting and perpetrating.
keep it real.
They will call you out behind that shit, right? No, don't be fronting. You know, because it matters, right? So, and like you say, a lot of people, they're going to show you their representative and they want to do this just to get along. No, because see, especially because I really liked that guy. I really liked him. And so I did want a long-term relationship with him. And we probably would have had one, except that he didn't have kids and I was dead set against having any more of it. So, but we were in a relationship for a while, and but I wasn't even going to start. That was very early on. I was like, no, because I don't think it's fair. And I don't want nobody to do that to me. Don't treat me one way now, and then now all of a sudden now you got me hooked. And now I'm thinking that this is who you are, and in reality is nothing. That's not even who you are. You know, and I don't think that's right. So for me, but in terms of other things, another thing that I think is again, and all of these things relate to what I think is the most important is what is the nature of the relationship and how much time has been invested in the relationship is going to determine how you break up. Because you can have been with somebody for a very long time, or even let's say 6 months or so, and you're realizing maybe I'm going in a different direction, maybe I've changed, because we evolve and we change every day, hopefully, right? But if I've been spending time with you and stuff, I feel like I do need to say to you and be able to explain, if nothing else, at least give an answer as to why now I don't want to be in that relationship. But if it's really new, you know, a little less. Let's say it this way. But these are the kinds of things that people do now. Now they break up by text. I think that's kind of cheesy.
And break up my text.
Social media.
Social media, on social media and stuff. I think that's
That's funny.
side. Huh? Well, what you
That's
think?
funny.
What you think?
They do. I mean, people
They
is
do.
people is a trip. They are a trip.
But I'm like, if we adults, but then again, see, like you say, it's generational, right? Because I probably wouldn't decide to get into a relationship via text either. There's a lot of that going on too in social media, right? So people, what's that catfish stuff? They only in a relationship on a computer, and I'm in love.
You don't even know, you've never seen them.
What?
But you love them.
That you think
Yes.
that they have presented?
Fall in love with them.
Well, see, for me, and I guess for me, I need some real shit. Like, no, I do. Like I need the real thing. I'm gonna need you to really make my life easier in a real way, right? Because, okay. And why do I say that? Because that is what I have found, I noticed about myself. When a man makes my life easier, takes pressure off of me in ways, is really considerate of me and putting me first or thinking about me, that tends to open my heart to me. The panties come up to it,
That's it, I'm going home. That,
Anyway,
I mean, it's just like that.
anyway, so what I'm just trying to say, anyway, but because of that, you're leaving.
I had enough of this.
Well, it's true. Well, that's the truth. It's just the truth. So what I'm saying is, but now, for a catfish opportunity, look at Tony. Look, for a catfish opportunity, I don't know how you would make me fall in love with you.
That's sick to me.
I don't know how you would do that because I need tangible things. I'm just saying, like, call me crazy if you want to. But I don't know how I get catfish because, right? I want a hug. I want a real kiss one day. Like, before I'm in love, like before I open my heart and pour my heart into it. I don't know. Okay, they can hear you. But you special. But I'm just saying. So I'm just thinking like, but again, I cannot speak for everybody. Two consenting adults can consent to whatever they want. Like I was confused a couple weeks ago. I'm at Solano, and a guy talks to me about him and his girl been together for a while, but they met online. She did 25 and he's doing 20, he's at 22 years and he ain't out yet. And I'm thinking, how did y'all get engaged in a relationship that's that deep? And y'all both been in the penitentiary all this time. But he said that they met online. But again, as I was explaining to him that you guys don't know each other. Because just the relationship alone, the nature of being incarcerated, you could not have the relationship that you would have with the elements in the street. There's so much more that goes on being in the street. There's actual work. Yes, there's like, you're here, the trash need to be put out. The kids, somebody need to get the milk from the store and the light, because somebody paid the light bill. Like, it's real stuff that you don't get to do when you're incarcerated. And I was saying to him, you guys don't really know each other. And he was like, I've been thinking about that. Yeah, you don't know, right? You don't. And so the question becomes, and how are you going to make that work when she's just getting out? She in a halfway house after doing 25. You still in, you think you getting out soon. You guys are gonna have so much that are going on.
You don't know when he's coming home?
He don't have his date yet. But he says he's coming home. You know that talk, you talking about the talk.
He's sending a friend to take care of me till we get there.
Okay,
shit.
oh,
I'm leaving, that's what I'm
that's deep. Okay, he gonna send a friend.
I know
Okay.
people do that.
That's wrong.
They know it though.
Oh, they
That's
all
wrong.
agree to this
They
madness.
agree to it.
Well, they can consent to whatever they want to consent to. I ain't trying to, throw no shade on nobody's stuff, whatever. I'm just saying it'd be a little bit much for me to handle. Anyway, I got issues, and this are my issues. I want what I want when I want it, and I don't want to share that. So again, remember, I was the baby girl. I was spoiled. But so, but at the end of the day, again, we have to be conscious of who it is that we're in relationship, what the nature of that relationship is, and when we get ready to get out. I think one of the things is the more straightforward and honest you are about why you're getting out of the relationship, I think the better it will go, because people know when you're lying. Let me just say that to the liars out there that's listening. Wait, Terrell, wait, hold on. You think nobody know you're lying? We know.
Look, they're on to you. The homies is on to you.
We know that you're lying. So when you're lying, it creates more confusion, and people are like, "Well, I know that's not it because I know that's a lie," and it don't rest well with your soul. So just tell the truth.
If you got the other person assuming something that's not true.
Right, and you can't function, you can't process, your soul is not going to accept what it knows is not real. It just doesn't. Your soul, because your soul is that part of you that don't allow you to believe a lie, even to yourself. Okay, so at some point, in fact, just this weekend, your friend, we were trying to get a picture of Diane and her friend, because her friend's birthday is the day before hers. And Diane's brother was going to get a cake, and he wanted to put a picture on the cake. We were trying to get out of her phone, her friend's phone, this nice picture that she had of her and Diane. Well, time starts running short, and it's like, and she's a Leo like Diane, so you can't just BS her. You can't just tell her anything. Whatever don't make sense. So finally I just had to say, let me just say this. We're trying to get your picture on the cake because we wanted both of y'all on there because we want to celebrate Murphy. So do you have a picture you can send? And then it went smooth. Right. And it was easy after that, because trying to bullshit her wasn't going to work. And trying to go around and make it so, in this instance, especially because now we're running out of time. See, the day before we was trying to get it, she sent it to the other friend, but it didn't go through because wherever we was in the house, the Wi-Fi wouldn't let us in. So it's like, okay, so now today though, we running out of time. Okay, today is the day. Okay, just tell the goddamn truth, Noreen. Okay, Terry, let me just say what's really going on. And so then she was willing to try to send me the picture. It still didn't go through, and we wound up without a picture anyway. But the point being is that the minute that I start telling her the truth, then we could communicate. So, and she would know it was bullshit. I could tell she would feel it if I'm trying to make up something, especially because she don't know me that well. And she's like, what's up? She probably be like, what's up with this weird girl? You know what I'm saying? Why is she,
her friend acting like that, D?
Yeah, why is she, she would have said it. Yeah, her friend crazy enough to say it out loud. So it's like, if you've been in a relationship with somebody, they know, you can feel it. So to the liars out there, we hear you, we know you lie. So if you, the more plain you are with your language. And I would also say this.
Practice in the mirror if you don't know how to say it.
Yeah, and they do suggest that you practice the conversation in the mirror. But the other thing that I would say is this. Only speak for yourself in the breakup conversation. Speak about your behavior, what you want and what's not working for you. Stop talking about what they're doing, and if you do it, because guess what? That leaves room for them to believe that if I just adjust what I'm doing, then we can have a relationship, and that's usually not the case. So what you do is you talk about you. Talk about, this is not working for me. But you got to understand you first. And you guys been around Free to Heal and me and my Hurt People Highway and all this time. You know, the first place I'm trying to take you is back to you. I'm trying to take the conversation. What about you? What did you participate in?
And don't start off don't break the way like this. I don't think we should be together because you know what stuff you be doing. Don't do that.
No, No, that's not gonna work, no. Because what, all that's gonna do is generate an argument, right? It's gonna get them on the defensive, and they can't even hear what you're saying because they're on the defensive about it. But no, have an idea of what it is that, why you want to end the relationship. And again, everybody, like you say, Tony, everybody may not require or even deserve a full blown explanation, but if it, cause I'm this way, if it's gonna keep whatever the fuck you need so that it's over. How about that? And if that means I need to tell you this, then I'm gonna tell you, but I want to tell you the truth. And I want to tell you about me. And that prevents a lot of the overlapping and all that kind of stuff. So practicing it, knowing what you want to say, being succinct and to the point, all of that helps to make it a much healthier experience. And then this is the one thing I want to say, and then I want to go around and give everybody a chance to say that any final comments. But and don't double back on the, I just want to hit it one more time. Yeah, and
I just want to hit it one more time.
Because what happens is that it becomes some more shit. Okay. Okay, that's as bad as the fucking and break fighting and fucking. That's as bad as that. You see what I'm saying? We're gonna hit it one more time. That's equally as destructive. Because what you've done now, what you've done now is you've given that person hope. And I don't know about anybody else's stuff, but I know, I know I'm working with it. It's probably not a good idea if we let you come back over here again. So I'm just saying, no, this shit should be regulated by the FDA. But I'm just saying,
you can't make this up, y'all. You cannot make this up. I promise. You have to be here to see it.
You can't make it up. And I'm gonna come to the man that started all this mess. That's Mr. D Dub. Tell me what you think, baby. Unmute. Talk to him. D Dub, where you started this?
Yeah. You guys are
been up there laughing.
You guys are nuts, man.
Did we help you?
Yeah.
Did you get any help though? Did you get any good information? That's what I want to know.
Yeah, there was a lot of good stuff in there. I loved it. But I was in such an entanglement with my marriage, and I did not extricate myself in any of these, healthy ways. Really, I did everything wrong, and she was a mess at the same time, and so it ended badly. And so, yeah, all this stuff makes sense how to do it, but when you got kids involved, and it's just a bigger situation and complicated. So, I mean, we can go further into that, and there's lots of different situations like you talked about. It's all situational, but I was young, dumb, and full of something, and I was a mess.
And she was equally messy, and therefore it was messy. It was unhealthy, and you didn't have the right tools.
No,
right?
nothing.
So
I did not even know
tools.
I didn't know myself. The only thing I knew myself about was that I didn't care about much. So, and neither did she. And so those things are going to mesh right. I mean, that's exactly the point. Once now that I know myself better and grown, I feel I'm in a better place to be in a relationship. And like Ms. Cheryl said, the experience and the age, it becomes a different type of relationship you're looking for and stuff. So, but what I'll say, let's see, I got lost in my own thoughts, but, oh, dang.
Well, as long as you got some benefit out of the conversation and learn some things that will help you, hopefully you won't have to use them because you're in a new, different relationship, and hopefully that will work if that's what you want to be the case.
Yeah, so thank you.
But yeah, if anything happens, at least you now have some tools that you can use.
Oh, I know what I was going to say. Sorry. That so much of who we are is our routine and on the way we, how we wake up, how we work, when we wake up, when we shower, it still like makes a difference on who we are. It's just weird in the relationship because that's what our partners are noticing is just, and you should notice how your partners, interacts with whatever her work day is or whatever her schedule is. I'm paying attention to hers and she's paying attention to mine. And that's what makes us up. on the physical side. So it's hard to like get into the emotional side when you're kind of like all zoned in on that. And I find that a little difficult being new out here in a relationship. And I try to get to more of the emotional touch. And it's just when you're focused on the physical aspects of a person's being and how they operate, the emotional kind of it gets detached a little bit. It's hard to like really get in there. But I mean, I guess that comes with more, more longer term. But it's fun doing it though.
Well, so a couple of things that came to mind as you were speaking. One is when you talk about routine, a lot of times it is the physical nature of being in a relationship and the ease with which having a partner, the things that the ways that it makes your life easier
Right.
is what people don't want to let go of. And then also another thing that happens, I have experienced that particularly when men cheat, they tend to start getting a little more irritated with the woman that's at home. They start treating her a little bit rough, and she's irritating them. Short, yeah, short. But men change. See, and the reason I say this more specific to men is because women, we're detail oriented, and we're gonna every woman I know that would cheat, honey, they making sure everything they ever did was still being done. Okay, all that still dinner's still on the table and all that. Yeah, but
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Because we're detail oriented. That's just the nature of what women do. But that cheating thing, and then one of the things that it brought up from my mind when you talked about the physical is when people start having sex too soon. What happens is that you begin to focus very much on that as
Yeah.
opposed to, and then you filter behavior through the haze of orgasm, and that is not where you're trying to be. And then you begin to overlook or to make excuses for things that you shouldn't. You want to say something?
Yeah, so the first initial, most relationships start out by just physically seeing a person, and it's their looks that you're going after anyway. So it's not the substance of getting to know them inside. It's like, oh, baby, you fine, and ooh, look at him. Ooh, look at him. And so it's the attraction.
He is the cutest brother in here.
Yeah. And that's how you base your relationship. So they're not really substantial relationships.
But they can get ugly real fast.
Yeah, they do. They turn ugly quick, don't they?
Because you're meeting them for their bodies.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You're meeting them for their bodies. And it's not like, hey, how you doing? That's why a lot of people that been friends forever figure out they love each other. Because they've learned to know each other and stuff.
Yeah.
So
I have found that people that I got involved with after I've known them have always been a better relationship. And I think it's because you get a chance to observe them when they're not giving you their representative, because there's no need to give you the representative, because there's no notion of, well, while they're behaving, and they're not, you guys are not interested in each other romantically like that. You get to see who they are because they're not trying to give you the representative. They're not trying to feed you nothing or whatever. So I want to, because Frank is here, I would like to give him an opportunity to tell us what your thoughts are about this crazy group that you got yourself into.
First of all, it's an awesome group. I love the discussion, and I love the whole topic of relationships. And I do believe, I really relate to DW what he was talking about, like with his previous relationship, previous marriage. When you're not paying attention to the other person, when you can't even manage your own self, because really when it really comes to it, it really starts with in the inside. It's not really it's about the other person, but if you don't understand yourself, because it's not the other person's responsibility to take care of you, you have to know. Now, the appreciative part, yes, the reciprocal part, showing the other person that you appreciate them, of course. But then again, who's the one doing that appreciating thing? That's the person that's inside. So, yeah, I can relate with DW because that was a situation with me. I couldn't deal with what I was dealing. I couldn't deal with it, and then she was dealing with a bunch of things herself, and I had no idea how to deal with that. I learned how to deal with that later after it was already done. And so,
And
so
hindsight
that's
is
what you were
20/20
talking about
vision,
again.
right?
Exactly, exactly. So now, I mean, me understanding, the whole thing about the relationships, and not it's not just a relate a romantic relationship, but just relationships in general. You got to feed them. You gotta nourish them. You gotta feed them. And
Yeah.
so I think that's a beautiful thing about it. When I learned that it was not the other, like even my little girl, she had told me, man, she's like she was real young, and she was telling me, well, Dad, she's like, how I don't know how to fix it. I don't know how to fix the problem. And I'm like, what do you mean? And she's like, well, I don't know. My mom's always mad, and I can't do it. It was amazing because I'm like, wait a minute, hold on a second. I'm like, you don't need a. I'm like, how old are you? She was 7, at the time. I'm like, that's not your responsibility. You need to enjoy the life that you're having right now. That is for the adults. That is not for you to fix. You are not to fix anything. You enjoy yourself, go to school, have your time with your friends, do this and that. And believe me, I can just feel the rucksack
The
on her back
relief.
just come off. It just came right off. Yeah, and I felt it. I saw it, and she's like, I feel so much. I said, yeah. I said, it feels good, right? And that's the thing, because it's not your job. It's not your job to take care of that kind of thing. But kids, especially, they're so smart. They're so inquisitive. They're so smart, and they
And
can
they
just
feel
tell they
things
want to fill
very
those
deeply.
spaces.
They feel things
Yes,
deeply. She felt that something needed to be fixed. And it's
Yeah.
good that you told her at 7 years old that
That's
it's
not her
not her
place.
job to fix it, because
Yes.
guess why? The one thing we're not able to do in this lifetime ever is fix anybody. We are not, that is not a power that we are given. We
Yes.
can give them information, but they have to want to change or fix themselves. And
Yes.
that's because that was a universal law that was set up so that you go to the original source, whatever your higher power is, to get fixed. That's between you and your source. It is not for me to fix you, right? I can give you
yeah,
tools and information, right? But as a 7-year-old, think about this. If she started trying to fix her mom and fix her dad, imagine how many raggedy men along the way she was going to be trying to fix, and the damage that would
yes,
be under her, trying to thinking that she was supposed to fix. Like mine was, my
yeah,
dad was emotionally unavailable, and I thought if I didn't do all the relationship in the work, that the man wouldn't stay. That worked for my dad, but just imagine all the suffering that I went through with men. Because then, as long as I understood, also my dad had a heroin issue, and my earliest memories were him in treatment. So that as long as I understood why a guy had a problem, or why he disappointed me,
It's
or why he didn't
okay.
live up, it's okay. No,
Okay.
now I don't understand shit. I don't understand that. He just working on it, because that's what I've had to come to take care of and protect me, because I had to fix that in me. That was not for another man to fix. No other person, not a man or woman, chick or child, could fix that for me.
yeah.
That was my job to take care of that. So I'm really glad. And another thing that you said that brought up something that's important. Good relationship principles apply to all relationships. Like communication, honesty, those things, they apply to any relationship, even in employment. All of that matters. And friendships, it all matters. So good principles apply to everything. So just remember that. So I thank you. And I hope that you'll get to join us again sometime soon. But if you're busy, we're not upset. We'll be here when you get back, okay? But thanks for joining us. And let me see, and I need Miss Monica. I want to hear your final thoughts. So glad you was with us tonight.
Yes, ma'am. I'm happy to be back. My final thoughts are just taken away from tonight. It's just relationships, and bringing it back to myself, and knowing that whatever I put out there in the relationships that I do have, I'm going to get that back. So if I want healthy, strong relationships, I want to be able to give that myself. And the relationship that I'm looking for in other people, I got to have it with myself first.
You need to drop the mic. Can we just drop the mic? Just
Yeah.
drop the mic.
Thank
Just drop
you.
the mic.
Later.
Okay, but I got other people got to check out. So,
Oh, I thought it was done.
but yeah, that was it. No, that was it. No, that was the whole thing right there. That's the whole brass band all by itself right there. Thank you, baby. I'm glad we got that recorded. Mr. Chester, let me come to you.
Yeah, I think, like you said, I think the same way you started, you have to end it. If you're gonna be transparent, you need to be transparent and honest, and get to know your partner, and let them know what you want and what you don't want. You know, that's what I believe, and that's how it works for me. Even though I have up and downs in my relationship, but at the
It's
same
almost
time,
over.
you have to be able to understand each other too, and just be upfront, like you said about the ironing. You know, don't play a game with me. How you started, that's how you go have to end it. You know, so
That
yeah,
was
them are
only
my
fair,
thoughts.
Chester. I thought it was only
Yeah,
fair because I really liked the guy, and I didn't want to give
yeah,
him a false impression. I wanted him to know me for who
yeah,
I really am, you know. And I don't,
yeah,
because I wouldn't like that.
yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Good. All
yeah.
right. Thanks for being with us, Mr. Terrell.
I'm gonna just say like this. Thank you guys for the laughs of the show tonight because y'all was hilarious. Woo wee. This stuff really needs to be on TV. For real. We got it on YouTube and other platforms,
Cool
but
stuff.
man,
Somebody can check it out.
this really like to be on TV. But no, it was a great topic and different discussions and different viewpoints, and that's always the beauty of this when you have different viewpoints from all different perspectives, and people could make a humor out of the fun situation that's really serious. But we're serious, but we got to laugh. You know what I'm saying? And do what we do. But just to know that we get it. You got to get it. Just like he's the 7-year-old girl. You can't fix people. You know what I'm saying? And my mantra is this: build up a healthy intra perspective. You got to build up a healthy you. You got to build up a healthy you before you can deal and talk about anything else. You got to build up a healthy you, and when you
Build a
build up your
healthy you,
healthy
you gotta know
introspective,
you.
huh?
And you gotta know you, right? You gotta
Yeah,
be able to
most
explain
definitely.
that to somebody. You gotta be able to articulate that.
Yes, and that's why you got to get to know you, and you got to start from you. Once you pour out, then it goes. You know what I mean? And everything go with it. But yeah, I enjoyed tonight's conversation
Awesome.
and all the
Thank you.
comments. So thank you guys for allowing me to be on this platform.
Absolutely. Always glad to have you. Miss Tony, you want to
Get
go
my
ahead?
laugh on.
Okay, right. Miss Tony, any final thoughts?
Great conversation. Appreciate the perspectives.
Wonderful. Y'all want to be on camera for y'all checkout?
Oh, yeah, I don't have to be. I enjoyed the topic tonight. Thank you.
You get your seat back thanks to you.
Miss Roberta?
Oh, yeah, I just wanted to, say this one thing.
Can we see who talking? Because I don't believe
Miss
you giving them a
Roberta,
choice to talk
I
if
just
they
want
want
she
to be
don't want to be on
seen.
camera right now. She don't want to be on camera right now.
Honey,
We're not gonna force her.
Okay.
Somebody said you need to show up in the building because if you want to see.
Well, I'm on camera, so hey.
Okay, so really quick, I was just, Ms. Noreen had made a statement about, her, her deal breakers. And in that moment, I realized I didn't even know, I didn't know my deal breakers. I didn't even know I didn't have any, I believe, until now, like I'm by myself. I'm probably gonna be by myself. Forever, because I got a lot of deal breakers.
But isn't that interesting though, right? That you didn't even think about it, right? But a lot of people don't, Roberta. You were not unique in that situation. That's why I bring it up and why I talk about it, because a lot of people, again, you got to get to know you. You got to get to know those things so that you can articulate that to somebody else. I can't.
Out there.
Yeah, just whatever. Do you know that most relationships are not entered into intentionally? People just wake up and they in a relationship. I told y'all, I tell y'all all my business. I told you about the dude. I looked up and he had shoes up under the bed. And he had been living there for 30 days. Because this is how we would do it. He would leave and say he going home. And I call him and say, oh, can you come back? Or he called and say, I want to come back. And I say, okay. He said, okay. And before I know it, it's 30 days have passed. He got shoes up under the bed. And he living here. Full-blown relationship with a man living in my house, and I was the last one to know, right? Or maybe he found out, well, whatever. It wasn't no intention to it. And the reality is you got to be intentional about entering into a relationship. The more intentional you are about developing it on the front end, the better the foundation, the more solid the foundation is, and the more likely it is that it will survive. Okay.
A whole bunch.
Yeah.
Ain't nobody's fault but mine.
No, that color age, don't do that to yourself.
Yeah, and then an experience, right?
Experience.
It comes with experience. Yeah, it really does.
It's
It is. It's not. You have some
Everyone's either a blessing or a
What happens is, I was telling Roberta the other day, I've been telling people, we've allowed men to do things to us because that's just how men are. So they can.
We make that the
touch us.
excuse. That's just how they are.
Yeah, they touch us and stuff, we don't say anything. When them people first said, what's that movement that came?
Me too.
Me Too movement. I never even thought about that because I've been getting touched for a long time. And so my friend, I was getting out of his truck one time and he rubbed my behind. And I said, don't do that. He said, why? I said, cause I said, don't. He said, but we friends. I said, but I didn't give you permission to touch my body. So people didn't grab me walking down the street before, and you just go on, cause that's how men are.
And
They're just
survive.
like that, right? And yeah,
Yeah.
we make big.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
So I just want to say, you know, I am really, really, whether you guys know it or not, and I say it all the time, that I'm really grateful that I get to facilitate this group every week. And the reason is it keeps principles of healthy relationships in my mind, fresh in my mind all the time. Because we're talking about them and different things that you said cause me to think certain things and, you know, and bring those things up, but I get to live those in my life so that as I begin new relationships with people, friendships or otherwise, I get to be intentional about it because I'm talking about it on a regular basis. And again, what we're about here at Free to Heal is we want to be healed. We want to be freed from all of the prisons that we put ourselves in, because a lot of us put ourselves in emotional prisons and things that, and we get in it and we stay there and because we don't want to get out. We like that craziness. I was talking to a guy in Folsom, and he was in my advanced class up there, and it was like, yeah, but I like that crazy shit about it. It was literally yeah, I like that. And but he didn't realize it until it was brought to his attention. Okay, and so it's like, yeah, you know, and when you like the crazy, then you gotta take what goes with that. And so for me, I'm glad that I get to speak to you guys on a regular basis, and it keeps principles of healthy relationships in my forefront. So we're here every week, unless otherwise notified.
Tony.
We're gonna make
For
sure.
the record, huh?
For the record.
Unless Doreen, the queen, say we ain't here.
Well, but then I gotta make sure I do better with my memos and reminding people. So
And you got to do reminders for us elderly people.
Yeah, the senior citizens, yeah, the people that do the senior citizens class, we do. We love you guys. Thank you guys for being here. We'll be back next week on Free to Heal. Check us out. Bye-bye.
Thank you.